Hello, this is Peter from TimeSlack Studio, and I would like to show you how to play our new game that is coming to Kickstarter. It's called Bossin Space. It's a cooperative game for 1 to 4 players, and it's about spaceship commands and defeating enemies and flying with your spaceship and that stuff. In this game, you will be trying to defeat a boss that is waiting on you at the bottom of the enemy deck. So you need to destroy some enemies and to reveal a boss, then defeat it, and you win. And you can lose by losing all your health or overheating your ship by using some cards that will heat your ship. To set up the game, you just need to put the game board in the middle of the table, deal every player 1 pilot card randomly, take 3 life tokens, this is your health, take the upgrade board and fill it with yellow cubes. Just leave the first space empty. If you're playing in 2 or 3 players, just leave 2 spaces empty. Put 1 blue cube in the XP spot and you will move this to upgrade your ship, and take a red cube and put it on the very first spot on the overheat track. Take the spaceship card and put it on the second spot in the second column in the very bottom row of the game board. Now what you need to do is assemble your enemy deck. If you're playing our prototype copy, we have prepared the deck for you. Just take the enemy cards from scenario 1 and it will be quite different in the final game, because what you will do is you will divide those enemies by their XP value, let's say 1, 2 and 3, shuffle them, and you will choose a difficulty. It will tell you take 6 1 XP cards and 10 2 XP cards and 5 3 XP cards. You will then take all the 2 and 3 XP cards, shuffle them, and you need to do this in the prototype also. So take 2 and 3 XP cards, shuffle them together and put them on the bottom of the enemy deck, and take all the 1 XP cards and put them on top. Take 4 1 XP enemy cards and put them in the first row. Now we need to create our danger deck, and it will dictate how enemy behaves on the board. You just need to choose a difficulty. If you want to play like easy game that's good for new players, you can just pull out 4 cards that are marked hard. If you want to play the difficulty we have chose that is the best for a game, just leave all the danger cards in the deck, shuffle it, and you can deal first 4 cards on the table. Now you need to create a command deck, and command cards are used to move your ship and to fight enemies and stuff, and there are actually 2 types of cards in the deck, and you will need to pull out 6 cards that are marked with a special icon in the top right corner, and they are called command advanced cards, and you just need to pull them and put them somewhere near the game board, and you will be upgrading the ship and getting new cards. But right now we just need all the normal command cards, shuffle them and deal cards to every player. If you are playing with 4 players, every player will have 4 cards. If you are playing with 3 or 2, every player will have exactly 5 cards. Now you need to choose your boss. In the prototype there is in scenario 1 only 1 boss, so you will be playing with this and just put the card at the very bottom of the enemy deck. In the final game there will be several bosses and you will be able to choose from them, or you can shuffle all the enemy cards and deal 1 at the very bottom of the deck. And there are always 4 danger cards associated with the boss, and you can tell it by the icon on the card. If you are playing with blind boss, you don't know what boss there is, you will just take the appropriate danger cards when the boss shows. So now we are ready to play the game. Every player has 4 or 5 cards, and now every round starts with forming a timeline, and the timeline starts with 4 danger cards. We've already created this timeline with 4 danger cards, And now at the beginning of every round, every player will look at what's happening this round, and those danger cards, they will tell you what happens on the board. Let's say the first card, attack, it tells you in what columns enemies are attacking. If you happen to be in one of those columns, you are dealt damage. If there are more enemies in your column and you are being dealt damage, you will just choose the strongest enemy in the column, and that enemy is dealing you damage. So you won't take more than 2 in this first prototype version of the game. Then there is regroup card, and regroup card will tell you to move exactly 1 enemy card from one column into another. So you will just take the card, for example, from the 4th row into the 3rd and move it like this. If a card ever moves in the game in any state by any action and will cross into your 4th row, the card is destroyed. You are not getting XP that are shown on the card, and you are dealt that amount of damage that is shown on the card, and this shows how many damage you will get when the card shoots you or when it moves into your row. And the card is no matter where you are in that row, but when it crosses this line, you are dealt damage and the card is discarded. There is alternative action when you can't move a card because there is no card in the column. So what you will do, let's say if I was moving from the 4th into 3rd, I would take a new enemy card and put it into the column where the original card would end. The next card is new enemy in each column, and you will just slide all the cards one spot down and take the enemy deck and put 4 new enemies, 1 in each column. There is also alternative action when there is a boss revealed, so there are no enemy cards to be added onto the table. So what you will do is you will always just slide every column 1 row down, and to remember it, because there will be a boss card, you can just move the boss card 1 space, so you know that there can be no enemies. And when again new enemy on each line card will show, you will just again move all those cards down and move the boss, so you know this space is also occupied. Then there is activate all, and this card tells you to activate abilities on enemy cards, and you can see that on some of the cards, not all of them, there is this yellow icon, and it tells you what this enemy does when it's activated, and you will just activate all the cards on the board from left to right. So these are all of the danger cards, and now what's important and what's the most important part of the game is command cards. And you know, players have 4 or 5 cards, and they can never tell other players what card they hold in their hand. And at the beginning of the round, when there are 4 new danger cards, every player needs to pick 1 card, 1 command card from their hand and play it onto the table face down. And the player can never tell others what card they just played. So when there are 4 cards, because there will be 4 cards every round, because there are always 4 danger cards, those 4 cards are revealed, and now players can and may and must talk about what will they do and how will they use those cards. In 4 players, every player will play just 1 card. In 2 players, every player will play 2 cards. And in 3 players, the player who is captain of the round, and you need to determine that at the beginning of the game, and by the end of every round this will move, so every round there is a new captain of the round, will play exactly 2 cards, so there are 4 cards in total every round. Now when there are 4 cards, 4 command cards on the table that are shown like this, players need to discuss and decide what to do with them, and they need to assign them into the timeline. So let's say something like this is happening, so players can decide, okay, we need this command card to happen first, then this, and this. And when all of the cards are assigned like this in the timeline, you need to execute the timeline. Let's say we always start with the first command card, so it's your card. So first you will do the first command card, then one danger card, then the second command card, then the second danger card. So command cards always start. When there is enemy in the game, you will add those danger cards, and those have specific numbers, and those numbers tell you into which spot the card goes. So let's say it's like this. So this is how boss behaves, and when you're executing the timeline, you're doing one command card, one danger card, one boss danger card, and then again the second command card, the second danger card, and the second danger boss card. At the beginning of every round there are 4 new danger cards, but the boss danger cards stay always the same. Let me just show you what all the command cards do, and you will understand how to play the game. The first type of card is movement, and if you execute this card, you will just move the ship accordingly. You can move 1 space to left or right, or 2 spaces. Let me just say that the board isn't wrapped, so when you are here and someone plays go right, so you can't move, so you just stay where you are. The next card is fire, and what you do is you fire at the closest enemy in your column, and you deal 1 damage to them. For example, this card would be defeated, discarded, you will get this amount of XP and you're done with it. Let's say if you would be attacking here in this column, so you would deal only 1 damage into this card, and because this card has 2 health, you could mark it with the red cube on the card. The next card is heal, and if you have been dealt damage, you can heal 1 life, and it means you will flip the token face up, and now you are 1 health better. The next card is portal gun, and what it does is it allows you to move enemies on the board. You can choose 1 enemy at the bottom of any column and move it 1 space left or right, so you can choose to move this card from the 4th into the 3rd, and the cards always go to the upmost free space in the column. Then there are 3 cards that are overheating your ship. It's laser, missile, and EMP. When you play one of those cards, you will move 1 space on the overheat track, and if you ever reach the final spot on this track, the game ends because your ship has exploded. So what missile does is that you can fire 1 missile from your ship. You can target any enemy at the bottom of any column, and you can upgrade this card later in the game, so you will be firing 2 missiles or 3 missiles. The laser has 2 damage from the start, but it always fires in the column that you are currently at. But as you can see here, for example, this enemy has only 1 health, so you will defeat it, but you will have 1 more damage to deal. So you will continue with the next card in the column and you will deal 1 damage to it. Also, the laser card can be upgraded and it will deal 3 or 4 damage. So it's really powerful. The last card that will overheat your ship, and you can tell it by the icon of the card, is EMP. And EMP is really interesting because it's here, because what it does, it skips the next danger card. Let's say you play EMP, you move on the overheat track, and then you would normally add new enemy, but you would skip. And if you are playing with boss danger cards, you would skip all of those danger boss cards and move to the next command card. So now you know how to move up on the overheat track, and that's not good. But you can move down on the overheat track. What you need to do is just flip the card in the timeline. So you are saying, I won't be using this. So you as a team decide not to use some card, and when you are executing it, nothing happens, but you move one space down on the overheat track. So this is how you move, how you deal damage, and what you can do with your ship. If you defeat an enemy, you will get XP, and every card will tell you how much XP points you will get. For example, here you will get 1 XP point, so you will move 1 on this experience track. Then if you get another point and you would meet the yellow cube, you would go to the very first spot, like at the start of the track, and you can choose to upgrade one part of your ship. You can choose to upgrade your missiles, laser, or your deck. If you have to always start from the left, and if you've upgraded your missile, you can upgrade it again and get better missile, but you have to always start from left. If you choose to upgrade your deck, you will take those command advanced cards. You need to shuffle them and don't look at them, and you will take 2 cards from it and put it on the top of the command deck. You will just take 2 cards from the command deck, shuffle them together and leave them on top. Now you can do structural upgrade to your ship, but you need to have every upgrade from the column done. So for example, if you've upgraded missile, laser and deck once, you can choose to upgrade your ship, and the first upgrade will give you new extra life. So you will take 1 life token, and now you have 4 health. If you have all the upgrades in the second column, you can choose to upgrade your cooling, and by flipping 1 card you will cool 2 spaces back on the overheat track. At the beginning of the round, when there are no enemy cards in the enemy deck and the boss card is revealed, you will take a standee, put a boss card into it, and you will put the boss in the same column the player is. In the final game, there won't be a card with a standee, there will be nice cardboard. When you reveal the boss, you look at the card and you see there are some health points. So you will take a red cube and put it on the boss health track on the game board like this. And whenever you deal damage to the boss, you will move the cube down, and when the boss has 0 health, you win the game. Let me just go through boss danger cards. The first one says to follow. If the enemy is in a different column than the player, it moves 1 space to player. If it's in the same column, it doesn't move. Then the second card tells attack. If you are in the same column as boss, you are dealt 1 damage. Then the heat pulse card says move 1 on the overheat track, and the last card says heal. This is the maximum health the boss has, and it can heal 1 health at the end of their turn, but up to a maximum of 8. At the beginning of the game, we have dealt 1 pilot card to every player, and what you need to understand is that there is some special ability that is active only when this player is the captain of the round, and you can use the ability only once during that round. For example, pilot driver can turn 1 movement, so if he's moving right, he can turn it to move left, but he can do it only once. So let me just sum this up. You can win the game by defeating the boss, and you can lose the game by losing or your health or overheating the ship and explode. One last thing to understand: when there are no enemy cards on the board, you won't be using danger cards anymore, you will just use boss danger cards. So this was Bossin Space. Thanks for watching, and if you liked the game, you can support us by checking our Kickstarter. You can find the link in the description below. So thank you.